Hey everybody, you see the handy dandy whiteboard, so you know that means it's time for another whiteboard series video. Just me today, but I wanted to get this video out as a follow-up to my podcast with Bill Sweet earlier this week about the importance of tax planning and why you should be thinking about this. It was one of my best received podcasts, so I'm very excited about it. I think Bill knocked it out of the park. He's a monster when it comes to tax planning and knowing the code, which is why I obviously had him on the podcast. So I wanted to touch base on some of the things that we mentioned and some types of accounts that you may hear when you're talking with friends or reading or learning more about your financial planning. I know this stuff inside and out. It's what I deal with every day, but you're coming to this to learn more about financial planning and investing. So I want to make sure you understand some of the basics. You may have heard me and Bill talk about it. Again, like I said, you may read on your own. So we're going to go high level real quick. This is a whiteboard series video, so it's not meant to be long. And we're going to start with the very basic fundamental that most of you probably are aware of, and that's your pre-tax savings vehicle. So that's your IRA, individual retirement account, 401k, 403b, your retirement plans through work, simple IRA, SEP IRA. All of these types of accounts are funded on a pre-tax basis, meaning you don't pay taxes on those contributions today. They're going to grow what we call tax deferred, meaning as the investments grow and there's dividends and interest kicked off and capital gains, all of that growth that would normally generate a taxable event, if it was outside of a retirement account, you don't pay taxes on all that, which helps compounding. We've talked about compound interest before, how powerful that is. Having it inside of a tax-favored vehicle helps out tremendously with that compounding interest because you're not paying taxes along the way. So since you don't pay the taxes today, you pay the taxes down the road when you take the money out in retirement. Not going to go into contribution limits or all of those things, but just know that your traditional pre-tax savings, no taxes paid on that money today. It comes off of your income today. It grows and you pay your taxes later on. So that's number one. Number two is a post-tax savings. So that's where you're going to see anything with a Roth IRA, Roth 401k, Roth 403b. Those are all same type of vehicles geared towards retirement. But when you put Roth on the front, think of it as an adjective. That just means that the money going in has already been taxed. Just like your traditional IRA, your traditional pre-tax savings, all of the growth that's going to go on between now and when you access these funds is going to continue to be tax deferred, meaning no taxes along the way. The beauty of the post-tax Roth type of accounts is when the money comes out, it's tax-free. So you pay your taxes today, you get tax-free down the road. You'll notice when I do a close-up of the board, I also have on the post-tax savings a non-deductible IRA. So this is getting into the weeds a little bit, but I do want you to know that there are some people who make too much to contribute to a Roth, and maybe they're not in a situation to do a backdoor Roth conversion. They may not be able to deduct the IRA contribution they make because they have a 401k at work. These are all rules that you don't need to know, but just know there are certain circumstances where you can contribute to an IRA, but it's not a Roth and it doesn't come off of your taxes today. So it goes in after being taxed. It's going to grow tax deferred, so it falls under this post-tax category. But when you take the money out, if you keep your records, you're actually able to take your principal on that non-deductible IRA out without any tax implications, and then you just pay taxes on the earnings. So there is some benefit. It's a hassle to keep track of, but I do want you to know that there are non-deductible IRAs out there. So if you make too much, you can't do a Roth, you can't deduct, you can still put money in a tax-favored vehicle. Just know that you want to keep good records for when you take it later down the road. Next up are 529s. I didn't put them in either one of those categories because depending on your state, 529s are college savings vehicles, very similar to our IRAs, and that money goes into it, you invest it, it's deferred. Now when it comes out, as long as it's for qualified expenses for education, it's tax-free. So it has some characteristics of the Roth in that the money going in has already been taxed, but in some states you get a deduction. Other states you might get a tax credit, so there are some tax favors in your best interest for a 529 today. You get that deferred growth where no taxes along the way, and then if it's for qualified expenses for education, which now includes private schooling as well, not just college, those funds come out tax-free. So it doesn't really fit directly into either one of those. It's got features of both, but it is a tax-advantaged vehicle that you can use for college and private schooling. And then also at the bottom I have HSAs all by itself because it could be the best of all the worlds. It has the potential to be triple tax favored, meaning when you contribute to an HSA, which is a health savings account, is an account set up combined with a high deductible insurance policy for your health insurance, you can save money into this, and if you use it for healthcare costs, it is tax-free. You get to deduct it on your taxes when you make the contribution to it. You can actually invest these funds over time. Now, depending on your plan, that may or may not be a good idea. And then at age 65, you can take the money out penalty-free. And as Bill and I talked about on the podcast, which you should most definitely listen to, you could actually pull it out tax-free. So the HSA has the ability to deduct on taxes today. You can invest it if it makes sense for your plan. No taxes along the way while it's growing. And once you hit 65, and if you keep proper records or you use it for healthcare expenses in retirement, which you're going to have, the funds come out tax-free. So you hit boom, boom, all in one with HSA. I'm a huge fan of those and trying to figure out how they fit into the plan, if it makes sense, and especially for younger clients, really leveraging those to our ability and trying to build that in as another retirement account. So real quick, high level, those are your different types of tax favored accounts, meaning there's advantages to them. Each of them have their pros, each of them have their cons. Talk to your financial advisor, read up on them more to learn more about the limitations to contributions, the rules to access them without penalties. But just know that you have these different types of vehicles to save money, protect it from taxes along the way, get deductions today, have tax-free down in the future. You can see there's a lot of moving pieces, which is why it's important to work with a financial advisor, talk to a financial advisor, a CPA, to figure out what's the best way for your plan. But know that those things are out there and they can have a big impact, as Bill explains in the podcast, on your overall financial plan. And as he likes to say, pay the lowest amount of tax on your assets along the way. So not that we don't want to pay our fair share, but if there's a way to grow your money with a little bit less in the way of taxes creating a drag, why would you not do it? So again, these are your different types of vehicles you can use. We're not talking about how to invest it and what goes inside of them, but just know there's these accounts that have good tax advantages for you, and talk to an advisor. Third, fourth time I've said that, to figure out how they best fit your plan. So that's this week's Whiteboard Series video. A little longer than normal, but we covered a lot. I've got a link down below to the podcast with Bill. If you're interested in learning more about taxes, you should definitely take the hour and listen to it because it's tremendous. The whole hour is not on taxes. We get to know Bill a little bit more and learn more about him as a person and his background and what he's interested in, so it's entertaining as well. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.